You know, obviously you hear all this talk about the 7 battleground states and everyone and anyone has to be there. So sometimes it looks a little odd when you see a Democrat like Kamala Harris in the state of Texas, usually a reliably red state, although Ted Cruz does have a battle on his hand to keep his Senate seat there. And then you look forward to Sunday, tomorrow, when Donald Trump will be at Madison Square Garden. No doubt a friendly venue there for him at Madison Square Garden, but in the bluest of blue states himself, doing all of this, again, with 10 days to go. Bob Cusack said there is a method to this, and sometimes it can work. He is the Hill editor-in-chief. So, Bob, what are we to make of that? I just found it interesting. About 48 hours apart, the candidates are going into what would traditionally be deemed unfriendly territory.
Yeah, Neil, it is a bit unusual, but as you mentioned, well, I mean, Trump likes to think he's going to win New York. He's not going to win New York, but it does attract headlines. And, of course, you have a big Senate race in Texas. So, but there are operatives on both sides who really want the candidates to not be going to states like Texas and New York, but be basically camping out in the 7 battlegrounds. That said, the Trump visit to MSG continues quite a streak of, I think, good PR. Democrats would call them stunts. Whatever you want to call them, they've worked. McDonald's, going to the barber shop. It attracts headlines, and that's really, Harris has been struggling at generating headlines.
You know, this 3-hour interview Joe Rogan had with Donald Trump, I don't know if I've ever seen or heard anything like that. And to your point about Donald Trump and the McDonald's incident, which seemed politically brilliant to do, he just seems to be doing, no pun intended, more of that outside-the-box stuff that either she or her staff are reluctant to do or just don't want to do.
Yeah.
I wonder what you make of that.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time Harris sat down for a 3-hour interview? I mean, when you're going to become or trying to become the president, you've got to go for it. You can't be too careful. Harris has been very careful. None of the media blitz has been a home run. I thought Monday, the CNN town hall, it really did not work for her. She evaded questions, and Democrats are getting very nervous because of that, because Trump is closing stronger than she is right now, at least from a PR standpoint.
I'm wondering, too, the Harris campaign seems to be acting like they're sitting on a lead.
Yeah.
You know these polls better than I ever will, but I look at them, they're dead even. She's not sitting on anything but a very tight race. So
right.
You can throw a little caution. Probably you should throw, to Donald Trump's example, a little caution to the wind. The worst it could do is that particular event doesn't pan out, but it doesn't send you tumbling in the polls. I'm sure in the case of Donald Trump and that McDonald's visit, it helped. I guess I don't see the logic.
I don't see it either, Neil, and I think Harris smartly called herself, unlike Biden when he was going to be the nominee, the underdog. But she's not acting like the underdog. Successful politicians always act like the underdog. You always pretend, even if you're winning by 5, you pretend you're down by 5. And that works both in politics and sports. And listen, I think that Trump is certainly not playing it safe, not with, obviously, Joe Rogan. It was good. It was a friendly conversation. But still, 3 hours. I mean, that's a long time. And Trump doesn't mind letting his guard down. Harris does.
Yeah, you know, let me ask you as well. I just had a guest on talking about some of the unions and the non-endorsement, particularly the Teamsters. It varies by states. I get all of that. But it is a trend lately, Bob. And I've noticed it now with the case of major newspapers like the Washington Post, the Los Angeles Times, neither committed to endorsing a candidate one way or the other. Now, newspapers don't carry nearly the cachet and clout they used to be, where an endorsement did mean a great deal. But if endorsements would buy election, Hillary Clinton would have been president, and that never happened. So what do you make of what these two large newspapers, they're not alone, there are others who are stopping this, but what do you make of it?
It's an interesting development, obviously, the Washington Post and others taking criticism for this, but I agree with you. I think it's a relic of the past, and you know, the Hill has never endorsed a candidate, and I think newspapers should stick to the news. At the same time, as far as the race, you see Harris and Trump. Trump is cutting into her territory, whether that's African Americans, whether that's Latinos, whether that's the Teamsters. I know the Teamsters didn't endorse, but their data was basically 2-to-1 for Trump. I mean, I know that Teamsters aren't the SEIU or a more liberal union, but 2-to-1. I mean, that's eye-opening.
I'm wondering, too, then, what do you think plays out in these next 10 days? Everyone waits for the October surprise. We've had several surprises. I don't think they've moved the needle much. But what could in the days ahead?
You know, obviously, you got a foreign policy. You've got some bad actors out there who want to, for one way or the other, they want to basically move the direction to Harris or Trump. So that's something to watch. I think either candidate, Neil, can win this race, but Harris needs a stronger finish because she's had a rough couple weeks, and I think she's got to go for it. You know, we've seen nominees over the years after the election, losing nominees, whether that's Hillary Clinton, Al Gore, Mitt Romney. You know, you see their more personal side after they lose. She's got to show that right now and answer questions directly. She hasn't been doing that.
Interesting. We'll watch closely. We don't have much more time to watch, but we'll see how it pans out. Always good seeing you, my friend. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Neil.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.